Hugs and hellos, lovelies, yarny peeps and non-yarny peepers. Welcome to Mama G Gear. It's Mama G here. And as you see in front of you, I made a silly hat last night, or yesterday and into the night. And I thought I might try to do one of my unconventional tutorials. I'm not going to do the whole tutorial like everybody else does, but yeah, I thought I would show you how I came about this. It's not finished. I need to put like maybe a pom-pom here, and I don't know what else I'll do with it, but I think it's kind of cool looking the way it is right now. And I'm going to show you how I did this. For this particular one, I guess I'm on a big twist thing here because these were both big twists. Let me put my, I feel like I always have a pencil or a hook in my hand. These are both big twists that I use for this. 320 yards. It's 100% acrylic. It's a big twist soft. And whatever that means, I don't know. Oh, how many skeins you need per project. This green is avocado. It's a 4-weight. And it tells you a 6mm. All right, I never really pay attention to that, but I just did there. Throw that aside. And then the purple, I thought was really pretty. I was going to do a dark purple, and I thought, oh, I kind of like that light purple. This is a little bit bigger. This is the big value one. And again, 100% acrylic, 380 yards. Also 4-weight. And this one is saying a 5mm hook. Yet they're both 4-weight. So, hey, that's why I don't really pay much attention to the size hook that you're supposed to use. And this is soft purple. So that's what I used for this hat. It's really adorable. So, like I said, this is probably going to be, the reason I have these tags here is because I'm going to make a pom-pom off of there. I like to make the really long pom-poms, not the round fluffy ones. It's kind of a signature thing that I've been doing for years. All right, so we're going to push this aside. I am going to use my new furls. I'm loving this. It's a 5.5, which works out well because one of those says a 6mm, and the other one says a 5mm. So I'll go 5.5, just kind of hang out in the middle there. I got a couple stitch markers. Something I don't know if you guys do or not, but when I need my darning needle and whatnot and some stitch markers, I will, in my project bags, put some stitch markers in the hook of the darning needle, just so it's easy to have them all together. So I just wanted to show you that. But I do use some stitch markers. That's just for the decreases. And if you notice, 3 are one color and 1 is a different color because I like to put this into the where I joined the bottom. So it's basically the back. And then these are front and 2 sides. Just so when you're doing your decreases on that hat, you know where you're at. You know, you don't have to keep like folding it and whatnot. All right, and aren't these adorable? I have no idea. I can't see the camera, so I'm hoping I'm kind of in view. But isn't it adorable, those scissors? The little black cat. I just love that. I don't really need this, but I just wanted to put it here because it's cute. All right, so for this hat, the purple and green hat I clearly made for myself, or if somebody else steals it from me. But I'd like to make one for Rusty. And since Rusty is kind of the black and red color scheme of our team, I again wanted to stick to this really soft, shiny, big twist. These have 270 yards or 247 meters, which I noticed with the green that I did on that hat, I did have some extra, so this should be sufficient. I don't know, sufficient for one hat, and then I won't need nearly as much of the black because you really just go around in a turnabout with that. So I'm going to make the hat red. Reason being that Rusty likes red, and also I happen to have had 2 skeins of red, and only one of this this colorway is charcoal. I didn't want to use dark black because then it would be harder for you to see. Plus, I didn't have the dark black in the big twist. So let's put those two aside because we really don't need those. So really, this does seem thinner. Yeah, it's still a 4-weight. All right. It just seems, oh, it's a soft toss. Hey, let me back up, put my teeth in. That yarn was thicker than this, the green. So this might be, I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. All right, so I'm just going to make a loop. This is more tail than I need. But this is thinner, so I've not made one with this. And it is slippery, so sometimes it's a little harder for me anyway to work with. And oh, do you like my little, right? My dentist said I need a crown. I was like, I know, right? I just found that in my storage or my supply room, and I thought that was cute. So maybe I don't know if you can see this. Again, like I said, I can't see the camera. I don't know how these people do these tutorials, but I'll figure it out. All right, so I did a rim first. Brim, rim, trim. Don't know what it's really called. Hopefully one of those. And I believe I did like 8. So it's really just chaining up. I'm not even counting. I don't even know where I'm at, but that's cool. Whatever many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so I did 7. Then you do the extra one, of course, because you're going to go. And then this might be a little splitty. I'm kind of regretting. I immediately regret this decision because this is very splitty. So this is going to be tough. Luckily, I've got the furls. Furls got that pointy tip, but this whole tutorial may be starting over with different yarns. Yeah, it's already splitting on me. This is going to be a long time making this hat. Plus my hands are cold because the man didn't bring up any pellets for the pellet stove, and they're 40 pounds and I have to go outside to get them, and I don't feel like doing that. And then lugging up to the second floor 40 pounds over my aching shoulders, not always pleasant. All right, so I just did a chain, went back with half double crochets, and here's how I made this kind of a rim here where it sticks up, and it does that on both sides. And how I did that was, see how you've got your top. Am I in camera? Yeah, I'm pretty much in camera. I hope you could see because I don't have my ring light is at Rusty's house, so I'm only using overheads. But there's your top, but I didn't do the top part. I went to the stitch underneath it, and I'm only doing the one. I'm not going through 2. I'm just going through the 1 stitch, and then you have like a cross stitch. Yeah, this yarn is not the best yarn for what I'm trying to show you, but hopefully you can get it. Like there's a cross stitch and then a flat stitch, which is the actual stitch. But by doing this, that other side is going to protrude out and give you a nice texture on your rim brim trim. And again, and sometimes when I do these, I get confused as to when I turn the work, if I'm doing back and front loop only. So to eliminate that issue, I'm always, no matter if I'm on this side or that side, going into these stitches here, not the top stitches. So again, I chained 1, go back into that flat. Again, these are just half double crochets. I hope you're able to see what I'm doing. What a beautiful weekend. I don't know where y'all are. As of the time of this filming, it's a Sunday. And we had snow flurries the other day, and we're waking up each morning with frost. But it was gorgeous yesterday. And it's supposed to be equally as beautiful today. And I think it's supposed to do the same into Monday. So that's nice. Yeah, this time of year is cool. If you're not sure on this last stitch here, just grab one. Just try to grab one that's closest to you, so you have that protruding thing. And then if it's closer up here, just pull a little bit so you're giving yourself some space. Again, I do not follow patterns, and I do not do things conventionally. I like to try to figure things out on my own. So basically, this is all that I do. And like I said, this is a little slippery. My hands are quite cold, so I'm going a little slower than I would normally. Sometimes I will count my rows, periodically count my rows or count my stitches in the row, because I've been known to miss a stitch or add a stitch. And again, it's hard to find that last one, but you know, just hook into one. Doesn't really make much of a difference. So this is your rim trim brim. All right, and it's just really a matter of finding that flat one. So let's see how many. I forgot how many we started with already, so counting this would be all for naught because I don't know. That's 2. We'll see what anyway. 2. Yeah, it is a little splitty. Yes, I hope everybody's ready. Like again, at the time of this filming, let's see, it's Sunday, so next Saturday is Rusty's having the Halloween party where we created gifts for one another, this little group of us. And that's what I'm making that big pink cape for. I started on the hood last night, but I had to abandon it, and that's when I went into that hat, finishing up the hat, because it gets dark, because the man that lives here goes to bed mad early, so he likes it dark. And I was using black yarn, and you know, black yarn, and trying to crochet with black yarn in the dark is tough. I mean, quite often I don't have to necessarily be staring at what I'm doing. I can figure it out by the feel, but something like what I'm doing right now, I have to watch, because you're trying to get a specific stitch. And again, to the end, chain 1, turn your work, wrap, get into that first one. Hope I'm staying in camera. Yeah, and if you have any constructive criticism, not nasty criticism, but constructive criticism on how I can maybe do these better in the future, or even on our channel, things that I can do better, or Rusty and I can do better in the future. You know, we're always looking to improve, and we are, being an artist all my life, I am pretty good with accepting constructive criticism without crying or getting upset. I don't like mean things, because if you're mean to me, I probably won't be mean back, but I will put you in your spot, that's for sure, in a very diplomatic way. Unless you're really nasty, then I'll be up all in your face, girlfriend or boyfriend. So anyway, this is what you just keep doing, and it looks slow going here. You know, it's awkward doing it on here, but this is basically, and then again, just grab whatever you can on that end, one, and turn, and you see how you're getting, it's protruding out, so you're getting a nice rim. And I see how that's split there, so pull, put back, and then give a tug. So basically what I'm going to do, and I won't bore you with doing this whole thing on camera, I will hopefully continue doing this rim trim brim, and then go to the next part. All right, so I'm going to put you on a pausey, ring around the pausey, and come back when I've got this done. And basically you do this to whatever circumference you want for the head size of the hat you're making. I have a little smaller head, so I usually put it around my head, and if it has a little give, I figure, well, it'll fit, other people that have a little bigger head. Like Rusty's head's bigger than mine. She's got a monster head. That's because she got so many brains in there, because she's so smart. Yeah. All right, yeah, this is, again, I'm hoping that we're in frame. So yeah, this is your rim trim brim. Okay, so we'll finish this row, and then I'll pause you, and then I will, oh, that was 2. I don't want 2, I just want 1. Let's grab that end one. Totally splitty. And then 1 in turn. So yeah, this is what I'm going to continue doing until I get the width that I need to go around the head. So I shall be back. Alrighty, so now I don't know where my measuring tape is, but it fits loose around my head, so it will definitely fit Rusty. And just so you know, I mean, because sometimes you miss a, maybe that might be thinner. If you add a stitch or lose a stitch, it's really, in the scheme of things, it's fine. So you could fudge that. No one's gonna, and who's gonna look at your stuff that fine-tuned? And if they do, heck with them, So don't worry about people like that. Anyway, so I finished that last row with the back stitch, front stitch, and then chained 1. So now I'm going to join them into a circle, and we're going to make a rim brim trim. Also too, because I always forget to say it, but if you, I think I'm going to do it this way. It doesn't make a difference which way you do it, because it looks the same on either side. Yeah, I always forget to say this. If you happen to like what you see, don't forget to hit the like button, because that's important, and that makes me feel special. And also, if you aren't subscribed, consider subscribing and hit the bell to get all the notifications of any new videos we might pop up. And that was my housekeeping, I guess. All right, so let me tell you what I'm doing before I'm doing it. So here's the beginning chain and our tail. And I try to tuck tails in as I go as much as possible. And I think most of you would do the same, because tying those in at the end really stinks. So I'm going to go into the last hoop, the last chain. I've got that up on top. And then I'm going to go into the back loop of that. Can you see that? I'm going in just into the back. Reason, because I want that, and then do a chain. I want it to stick out on the good side, not the inside. All right, so I'm kind of just taking one thread. I'm not going through both. And I will say that I do regret that I'm using this yarn for this tutorial, because it is very slippery. And then I'm leaving that up, and then again on that part here, I'm going to go into the back loop. I'm going to grab my tail because I want to put that in, and I'm just doing a chain. I'm not pulling it super tight, but I'm not leaving it really loose. So on the beginning part, I'm going into this back loop, move that, go into that back loop, leave my tail in the middle. Yep, yeah, let's yarn over first and do another chain. And that's pretty much, so back loop. I guess that's the back loop. Yarn over, grab it, and go. And I got the tail here still in there. This loop, back loop. Closest to me, farthest away from me. Gee. I did put the little heater on next to me because it is a bit nipply in here, and it's hard. This yarn is bad enough as it is and slippery, but then having cold hands, the combination is not very good. All right, so I'm kind of to the top. You can see it looks like this has less, but once you get it going, you're all right. All right, so I tied that tail in. Now, oh, grabbed the wrong one. So now what we do, now that we have it, and I turned it right side out. So here's our rim trim brim. And I might just continue to throw that tail in so I don't have to even worry about cutting it out. So, All right, I do go with just one single crochet. And again, it's hard to figure where you want to put your holes. So I just kind of stick them wherever. I mean, it's, again, it's the same color yarn. It's not the biggest deal in the world. I think I'll go all the way into that one. And you want to kind of have these be not super, super loose, but being that you did these stitches, which is going to give you some give a little give. And a chain stitch is a little tighter, so you kind of make those chains a little looser. And like again, I'm not really rhyme or reason in here too much. I might be putting too many stitches in here. I mean, you may know better how to do this. Again, I don't really follow directions, so I kind of learn as I go along. But I would rather it be bigger than tighter than the rim trim brim, because I could always decrease. And am I in camera? I hope so. All right, so it's really just going around. And yeah, this yarn is just splitty. I one other tutorial I did, I don't even remember what it was for, but the same thing. It was like my hands were freezing, the yarn wasn't cooperating. But this is part of crafting. It's a challenge. And it's good to challenge yourself and challenge your brain. That's why I also don't like to follow, not that I don't like to follow patterns, I really don't know how yet to follow patterns, but why I'm not too concerned about following patterns is that I enjoy trying to figure out the stitches and how it's made on my own, because I don't do a lot of brain work anymore, and I think that is contributing to my memory loss. Oh, I keep getting that piece. So if you get like that, just pull it. I think that not using my brain as often as I used to, or as frequently as I used to, is contributing to my memory loss or inability to remember both long-term and short-term things. So trying to figure out problem-solving skills on how to put things together and looking at things and trying to figure out the construction kind of helps, you know, use my brain. Oh, keep wanting to go into a double crochet because that's the next row. So I just go around. You could also do a single crochet or whatever on the other side. Like this is the side we're doing now. This is the top part of the hat. So if you like, you can always do a trim on the bottom as well. If you wanted to do this on the bottom part, or the part that's closest to your face, I recommend you do that before you chain the two pieces together. Makes it easier. This way it's all one continuous piece. Oh, again, I keep going right to that double crochet. No yarn over on this part. All right, so yeah, I'm coming up to the join. Hello, go in there. Let's go, folks. There we go. So this is so splitty. Whatever, I'm not going to complain about it. All right, so I'm going to just kind of go into the first one. Let's see, yeah. Let's go into the first one and slip knot it. So there's our single crochet, and it feels, I'm giving it a tug just to make sure that this part that I just crocheted is going to be a little wider than the rim trim brim. All right, you're going to be all singing that all day long now. Rim trim brim, rim trim brim. Okay, so that's our back. So this is what I'm going to do first before I get going. That's the back piece. I'm just going to throw the green one, or the odd color. God, it's even splitting on that. Come on. I want to do more than just one because I feel like that'll pull. So I like to get a couple threads in there. But this, why don't things work when you want them to? All right. Oh, I'm going to have this huge splitty section here now. I can't believe this, right? I guess there's a little snag on here. All right, I'm just going to put on this, put it right here. Come on, just go through. Loady. All right, so then take it and fold it to this point. Put one of the yellows through there. Now see how nice and easy that one was? And then join those. Put one on. And these don't have to be precise. This is just giving you an idea of back, front, side, side. Because you're going to do decreases to get that cone look. This one's going to just... Gosh, is this my first time ever crocheting? What's going on? Okay, so now that we've got our rim trim brim and a single crochet around, now comes the fun part. All the rest is double crochet. Okay, that might move my chair up here a tiny bit. I'm a little frustrated, so I think I need to show you my screaming goat. This will make me happy. I had bought this a while back and never knew what to do with it, but we're going to use this on when we do lives. But that's our screaming goat. Isn't he adorbs? Because I love goats. I love cat. It looks like he oh no, I didn't lose his tail. I love cats, bats, goats, and crows. But anyway, listen to this. Oh, maybe not. Really? Just one more time there. Okay, now I'm happy. Okay, back to crocheting. Yeah, you've got to have those little silly things in your life to just get over the little frustrations. So what we're going to do is double crochet. I'm going to go back into where I started. And this is the mundane part. And it's literally, I'm going into both of the hooks in that single crochet. I'm double crocheting in both loops, and fuzz all the way around. And I will pause this. Yeah, this is splitty. While I'm doing this, I'll tell you. Okay, just how about I'll hopefully pop this video up before our monetization / fundraiser / Rusty's birthday party that we are going to attempt a live. We tried one. It was pretty horrific, but we're going to try to do this. It may be completely horrible, but just bear with us because we're newbies. And it'll be on Saturday, November 12th. Dee's Creative Hand Crochet. I thought she would just like start hers and then let us have like from 7 on. But I think she's going to maybe even switch her day, which is Dee, so super sweet. The reason we have the issue is that with Rusty's work hours, and we're hoping that her friend will come and help us to read chats and write names down with the prizes, and who wins what bid and whatnot. So what we're going to do, so it'll be November 12th, Saturday, at 7 p.m. Eastern, thereabouts. And during that, we do have giveaway items. And if there's anything you would like to donate for a giveaway, just email me. You know, I have some stuff, but if there's, you know, if you have whatever stitch markers or whatever you feel, if you'd like to do that, that'd be great. So we'll have some giveaways, but we're also going to have, being that it's a fundraiser for our Mental Health and Meow charity, we are going to have some items that you'll be able to bid on. So don't forget to bring your checkbook. Just saying. And speaking of mental health and meows and awesome animals, Oscar is outside sitting on one of the porch lounge chairs. He's been super, super growly, cranky. Like, he was next to me and I didn't even touch him, and he like freaked out and growled and hissed and ran away. Twice he did that to me. And then I noticed when he was sleeping on the pet bed by their window, no one was near him, and he did exactly the same thing. So I'm surmising that, because he never really cared for people to touch his back end unless you're petting right above his tail on his behind. He didn't like people touching his back end, and I'm surmising that he's getting phantom feelings and maybe feels like somebody's touching that leg and it's upsetting him. So that's just me, you know, trying to figure out things. And we also, and I don't know if I mentioned this in a video, because the vet said the way the shattering of the hip was, that she felt he must have gotten hit by a car. But when cats get hit by cars, they often break their fingernails, their claws. And his claws were fine. And there was other things that just didn't make sense, that he was hit by a car. And when I was at the post office, I was chatting, because the post office people are just like family to us, but we were chatting, and being that I live out in the woods, and he does go out in the woods, the post office guy said he might have gotten trampled by a deer, because he did have mud on his underbelly right in the back, and that makes more sense than him being hit by a car, because the deers run around here like crazy. If you've seen our videos, we've got so many deer, and their deer aren't always the brightest things, and they don't really know where they're going. They just run. And it makes more sense to me that a deer hoof crushed his hip. So just saying. Anyway, so now I did a double crochet all the way around, and I'm back to the beginning. I am not going to slip stitch and start another row. What's important for this hat is to continue it in a round. So I'm just going to keep going, and that's going to give us a little bit of a big opening, but that's okay. And I'm continuing in a round, and this is going to create that spiral. Okay, I'm going to bring the hat here, like my sweater I got from Salvation or Goodwill in Connecticut. But see how it spirals? It actually spirals down, and you want that spiral. It's more noticeable in the top here. You want that spiral, because when you're adding this part in, it just continuously goes to the bottom of the hat, and that's the very back of the hat. So it continually goes to the bottom of the hat. All right, I probably like slapped you in the face with that little tail. So now it's a matter of, keep complaining about this yarn, but I know it's going to be gorgeous when I'm done. Working with it's just kind of a pain. So this is it. So now for the next, I don't know, 4 or 5 rows, I'm going to keep it this width. I'm not going to decrease at all. I'm just going to keep doing these, and I know I'm going fast, and I'm sure all y'all know how to do a double crochet, but go through the, you know what? I screwed up. Look at me. All right, hold on. Frog it, ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. I did a mess up here because I was so preoccupied with telling you to continue it, I forgot to tell you this part. All right, let's go back. So now we did the one. No. So now we're back to, if I knew how to edit, I would just edit that whole part out, but I don't. Just deal with it. All right, so now we're back to where we started. And we're going to do a continuous. We're not going to slip stitch. We're going to do in the round, but we're going to go into the back loop only. So now we're doing back loop only. That's why this is nice if you have a thicker yarn. This is saying it's a 4-weight, but I'm going to venture to say it's more like a 3-weight. It's super shiny, really slippery, and splitty. All the things I didn't want to use in this tutorial. But this is what you get for not planning stuff, because I'm impulsive. So now we're only going into the back loop, pull through, take 2, go to 2, so yarn over, get that whole back loop, pull it through, go through 2, go through 2. That's your that's your double crochet. And, oh, come on. All right, yeah, this is, I might have to make that goat scream again. If you ever get a chance, if you're ever blue or feeling a little down, just Google goats screaming and watch some of those videos, because if that doesn't make you smile and laugh, you're doomed. Because that's what I do. It makes me crack up. Or the silly cat ones. Now, what am I doing here? All right. That looks like there's a, well, look like a little thread there missing. Okay. So back to this. We're going to crochet. This is really literally all you do all the way up. Back loop only, and try to get just one thread, and double crochet. And the only thing that's going to be different, or what you're going to change in doing this, is after you do a few rows, not too many, maybe 3, 4, 5 rows, that's when you're going to start to do decreases. And you're going to slowly decrease so that you get a even looking tapered sides. And that's why we have these. Just makes it easier than having to hold and look, oh, where's that back thing, and then try to figure what's a side and what's a half. They don't have to be precise and perfect, but it just kind of gives you a guide. I don't really do anything perfect. I don't want to be perfect. That'd be boring. And people expect too much from you when you're perfect. That's why it's fun to play dumb. If you play like all my life, I played the Dizzy Blonde, which I actually was very intelligent. So I played the Dizzy Blonde because then people didn't expect things from me and got me out of a lot of things I would have had to have done, except for jobs. You know, when I was working, I let them know that I actually knew what was going on. But all right, so this is basically it. And let's see, am I back to the, all right, when I get to the green, I know I think of another fun story to tell you. Can't think of one. I apologize for me being so frustrated with this yarn. I just really wished I didn't pick it. For this project, anyway. I mean, it's beautiful yarn. It's soft and silky and all that, but just for what I'm doing, it's not the best. I am glad, however, I do have the furls. This is one of the cafe furl hooks, which I will be giving away another Cafe I 5.5 hook on that prior mentioned monetization fundraiser birthday party on November 12th. Write it on your calendar. I'm giving one of these away. That'll be one of the giveaways. And I don't know if you saw the other video, I made some stitch markers and stuff. Rose from Rose Likes Crochet B is donating some, and a few other people are donating some items. Now I'm back here. See how it's gone up? See how that's the first row? This is the second row, so we're getting a spiral. That's exactly what you want. Oh, so I'm just going to show you here so that I don't have to sit here while I'm crocheting this whole hat. So to make a decrease, you're going to go through the back like you would, and instead of pulling this through, you're just going to go to the back of the next one. And now you've got 3 instead of 2. Pull through the 3 and then pull through. And that's a decrease in a double crochet hook. So I'm doing a decrease here. I would have done a couple more rows maybe, but for the sake of showing this, it's just as well. And I do think I made the single crochet trim much wider than the rim brim trim, so it's okay to do that. And as you're going, you don't want to decrease too quickly, but I'll do a decrease in the back, and then I'll do a decrease in the back and the front, and then I'll go up, then I'll maybe do a decrease in back, front, both sides, hence why we have these. And you can move those up as you go higher up onto the hat, so you could, have them right there in clear view. But I'm not going to decrease here yet, because that was my first decrease. So I would recommend the first several rows or few rows that you just decrease back and front, and then decrease the 4 sides. And as you're crocheting it, you'll see if it looks like it's getting too skinny too quick, frog it a little bit and just do with the 2. And then it also has to do with how much yarn you have and how long you want your cone part to be on your hat. If you want the cone to be less, then you're going to do back, front, side, side decreases. If you want it to be a little longer, then you just do back, front if you got a lot of yarn. And if you do that, you have like a huge long one that maybe will also be the cone part could serve as a scarf. All right, so now this is, I should have made this a different color also, and like had green and then this other end. All right, so this is the other end. I'm just going to do another decrease and I'll show you. So yarn over, pull through the back like you're going to do a double crochet, then go to the next stitch, pull through the back, and now I have 3 to go through, and then to those 2, and I just join those 2 stitches together. So that's a decrease. Did I get that? Yeah, that belongs there. And yeah, basically this is it. All right, so I'm gonna pause you and do this for a little while. Like I said, you take it upon yourself if you want to just go back and front decreases, and then maybe just a side-to-side decrease, just so it's not just fronts and backs, and then maybe all 4, decreases, and you play with it to how you want it. I mean, that's what my tutorials are. They're not showing you how to actually do something. They're showing you how you can design your own. Alrighty, so that's I'm just going to do back front for now because I wouldn't have normally done it. I would have gone up like 3 rows before I did a decrease, 3 or 4 rows, but so I'm going to do back front decreases for maybe another 4 rows, and then I'll start doing back front and both sides. And if you want it to go really, really, really slow and make it really, really, really long, then just do like back front, alternate, do back side, and then in between do a complete row without doing any decreases. And just do 2 decreases per round. But I wouldn't do just back and front all the time because it'll make the hat shape a little differently. So if you are going to make it really super, super long and you want it to be a really slow increase, I would say still do your 4 stitch markers, do a back front decrease, then do a round without a decrease, then go back and do a side to side decrease, then do a round without a decrease, and then do a back and front. You know what I'm saying? Alternate that way. That'll be more, the word begins with a C and it escapes my mind, but not continuous, cohesive, rounding, and a very, very slow in a decrease. So that if you have a lot of yarn and you want to do that where it's going to be like a super long one, like back when we were kids, some of y'all maybe remember the big long ones that I just mentioned, where it's so long that you had your hat and then the cone part, tail part was so long that you were able to wrap that around your neck. All right, so the goat's going to say, I'll be right back if I can get him out of the box. I just think he's so cute. Was the battery die already? Get out of town. Really? There we go. Screaming goats. I'll be right back. All right, it's later in the day and I have the ceiling lights off because I do. And the man that lives here is here, so if you hear loud, obnoxious noise at any point, that would be him. Anyway, this is where I am so far, and I wanted just to hop on and show you until I go any farther. Okay, put that. I always want this in my hand. It's so crazy. So I've been decreasing. I'm doing a slow decrease on this. Instead of doing 4 in a row, I'm doing the 2 like I had mentioned earlier, where I'm doing a decrease in the front, decrease in the back, then go to the next, decrease in the side, decrease in the other side. So I'm kind of alternating it. So I've got up to this point. So this hat's probably going to go, I don't know how if I'm on the camera or not with this, but probably go to there. But you could see how it's just slowly decreasing into a cone. I'm pretty sure I showed you the decrease before, but I will again just in case. So I'm going into the back, yarn over, back loop, pull through 2 and 2, and that is literally, oh duh, hold on, decrease, back over, back loop, pull through, go into that loop and pull through those 3 and then those 2. So I'm going to continue to do this until it gets smaller and smaller on the top. Then you got to kind of manipulate this top part a little bit until you get to the very top, and then I just pull through that last knot, and then we'll get into the what we're using on this hat is the dark gray. Alrighty, so we'll be back with that. All right, so here's the end of this video. Yeah, I just did the voiceover, and I'm like, my God, did I spend enough time crocheting on here? So this is the one that is complete, and I put a pom-pom. And this one will, of course, be mine because it's green and purple. And this is the one that I finished up for Rusty. And literally, just all the way down. And I didn't go to the bottom. Like on mine here, I went a couple rows and into the single crochet chain. On Rusty's, I didn't do that. But I don't know if you can see the fact that that chain actually protrudes out. It's really cool. So I do still need to put a pom-pom on hers. But since I had a little bit left of this yarn, I started another one because I only had a little bit of this left, and I do have a whole nother skein of the pink that I haven't jumped into yet. This might be going in a giveaway for someone who has more patience because that was splitty and yeah, just annoying me. But I was worried that I didn't have enough gray to do the whole hat, so I threw in a strip of red. And then I need to save some of the red for the pom-pom. But being that I'm putting two colors in this, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a whole different color for the crocheted single crochet stripe. So just in case, I saved a little bit of extra of this. Plus, I do have the other yarn if I do have to, go into that red. I'd rather just not go into the red and just put it back with all my red yarns. But if I can, I thought it might be cool to do the red around where it's gray and then change colors and do the gray around where it's red. That's one thought. Or just use a whole nother color for that for the chain around it. But yeah, so that's the little hats. They're really cool. They're fun. Like I said, the hardest part is just that tippy end. Okay, so that's really, you got to manipulate that. Didn't take much to make one of these. Well, I'm not going to say this one. That one took me longer because it was splitty. But this one here, I crocheted the whole thing in one night watching TV. So they don't take that long at all. Like I said, it's half double crochets, double crochet, and then a chain where you're, going in there. So they're pretty basic stitches, nothing complicated. But yeah, so that's it. I know this has been an extraordinarily long live, and I do appreciate any of you that have stayed and watched the whole thing. And let's see, maybe if we like these, let me know in the comments what you think, or if you have any other ideas. What the hell am I doing here? Any other ideas of what to do with this? 'Cause like I could do these and then put eyeballs, and I could do like the horny hat thing, or I put the cone sticking out. I don't know how that would balance on this, but any other ideas you have or whatever, please, leave them in the comments. Give me, like I said, I'm not really good at coming up with stuff, but if I see something or someone gives me an idea that it inspires me, then I will be able to come up with some ideas. But yeah, that's the crazy cone hat. I have this really crazy cone hat. I have no idea what it's called. We love you, and hey, as Rusty would say, nothing matters anyway. And as I say, so have a Yarnolicious day. Bye, y'all. All right, so here's the end of this video. Yeah, I just did the voiceover, and I'm like, my God, did I spend enough time crocheting on here? So this is the one that is complete, and I put a pom-pom. And this one will, of course, be mine because it's green and purple. And this is the one that I finished up for Rusty. And literally, just all the way down. And I didn't go to the bottom. Like on mine here, I went a couple rows and into the single crochet chain. On Rusty's, I didn't do that. But I don't know if you can see the fact that that chain actually protrudes out. It's really cool. So I do still need to put a pom-pom on hers, but since I had a little bit left of this yarn, I started another one because I only had a little bit of this left, and I do have a whole nother skein of the pink that I haven't jumped into yet. This might be going in a giveaway for someone who has more patience because that was splitty and yeah, just annoying me. But I was worried that I didn't have enough gray to do the whole hat, so I threw in a strip of red, and then I need to save some of the red for the pom-pom, but being that I'm putting two colors in this, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a whole different color for the crocheted single crochet stripe. So just in case, I saved a little bit of extra of this. Plus I do have the other yarn if I do have to, you know, go into that red. I'd rather just not go into the red and just put it back with all my red yarns. But if I can, I thought it might be cool to do the red around where it's gray and then change colors and do the gray around where it's red. That's one thought. Or just use a whole nother color for that for the chain around it. But yeah, so that's the little hats. They're really cool. They're fun. Like I said, the hardest part is just that tippy end. Okay, so that's really, you got to manipulate that. It didn't take much to make one of these. Well, I'm not going to say this one. That one took me longer because it was splitty, but this one here, I crocheted the whole thing in one night watching TV. So they don't take that long at all. Like I said, it's half double crochets, double crochet, and then a chain where you're, you know, going in there. So they're pretty basic stitches, nothing complicated. But yeah, so that's it. I know this has been an extraordinarily long live, and I do appreciate any of you that have stayed and watched the whole thing. And let's see, you know, maybe if we like these, let me know in the comments what you think, or if you have any other ideas. What the hell am I doing here? Any other ideas of what to do with this? 'Cause like I could do these and then put eyeballs, and you know, I could do like the horny hat thing where I put the cone sticking out. I don't know how that would balance on this, but you know, any other ideas you have or whatever, please, yeah, leave them in the comments. Give me, like I said, I'm not really good at coming up with stuff, but if I see something or someone gives me an idea that it inspires me, then I will be able to come up with some ideas. But yeah, that's the crazy cone hat. I have swirly crazy cone hat. I have no idea what it's called. We love you, and hey, as Rusty would say, nothing matters anyway. And as I say, so have a Yarnolicious day. Bye, y'all.